Hello everyone, it is me, Game Penguin 21. If I sound a little bit under the weather, it's because I think my allergies are acting up a little bit, but we got ahead of ourselves. Today we are going to be watching kind of a double feature, but all rolled up into one nice, neat little video made by jaytechtv. I'm calling this, the intro of this is going to be a little weird because we're going to be talking about two fanboys on the opposite ends of the spectrum. That being Michael Does Life, who, if you don't know, is essentially a big-ass person who is on the same amount of copium that Harman Smith is, but he took the speed variety, which essentially is like taking Super Coke, if that makes sense. Like, Super Coca-Cola, like, on all the Coca-Cola at the same time, just, like, completely downing it and just, like, Red Bull out the ass. In any case, this whole thing comes down to jaytechtv kind of responding to him via the PlayStation Spider-Man thing. And I don't know when this video is like more recent, and I'm surprised that he's made a video on it now, considering that this video I think is like over a year old, or at least the video that he's pulling the audio from. And of course, in jaytech's fashion, we're going to be looking at both sides. So I'm going to be both defending one side, defending the other side, and then refuting them both at the same time, because my views are consistent. But let's get ahead. Let's actually start talking about this, because quite honestly, this is going to be interesting.
I spent weeks trying to tell you guys that the crash was starting to show here with Spider-Man PS4, but you didn't want to listen because you were like, too busy drinking Brian's Kool-Aid and too busy on the damn hype train. And now yet here you are, watching my video review, because you're already bored out of your skull with Spider-Man PS4. And you only have yourself to blame, because I warned you. I told you guys this was going to happen. But again, you didn't want to listen because you were like, oh my god, Michael. That's what you were doing. And Insomniac, you know what they did in response? They took the money and they ran, make it rain. It's time. It's time for a reality check, folks. It is time to get down to the nitty-gritty. Look, I know most of you are going to disagree, and I couldn't care less, but here's the thing about Spider-Man PS4. The graphics are terrible. They really are. And I'm not just going to talk about it, I'm going to show you, okay? So that's what we're doing here in today's video. We're not just talking, we're showing, unlike Insomniac. So you're probably wondering why.
Okay, so I wanted to speed past that first minute. I'm probably going to speed it up as well, just get this video within a specific time frame, because I don't want to talk too much about this. But essentially, the video that is in question here is the Spider-Man comparison that Mike Does Life made when he was comparing, I guess, a bunch of the games, saying that the game itself was whatever. And what I also find interesting is that the current screenshot shows that his level, isn't the best, and he doesn't have any platinum trophies and stuff. So, and he's going to use the classic argument of he doesn't play on this game. I'm going to come out here right here and just say that maybe someone who basically defends Xbox with the speed variety of copium and probably hasn't had enough sleep, and probably has had the collective amount of sleep that I have had within the past, 30 minutes, within one cup of coffee, probably not the most reliable or best interesting sources to be like that. Also, I'm fairly certain that while he might actually own a PSN sort of account or whatever, I really don't think that he plays on it that much, considering everything else. So I don't think that this argument is even really valid. And again, it's that classic argument of, we actually play the video games that we talk about, rather than just sit here and talk about regular-ass video games and, discuss it on the internet. It's an old, tired argument, and it's awful. So, but yes, does Spider-Man look bad on the PlayStation? I mean, in comparison to the PC, kinda, sorta. Especially considering the fact that, again, I've made this argument before, just because The Last of Us doesn't run on the Steam Deck system doesn't mean that all the other ones don't already run on the Steam Deck system. I think that argument doesn't apply here. But again, if someone wants to come out and say that the PS5 is just as powerful and not as the best stuff, again, a lot of the games are Steam Deck compatible. Just some of them aren't. Oh well. But again, trying to call him out is like trying to call out some sort of dog for basically sniffing another dog's ass. Only it's his own ass, because he managed to like catch his own tail and is now sniffing his own butt cheeks. Really makes you think. Really makes you think.
Why am I doing a video on Michael Does Life years after this guy has existed? And that's specifically because he wasn't on my radar. I knew of him. I've seen him when I searched for certain videos, but he wasn't on my radar. Now that I understand,
if he wasn't on your radar, but you knew about him beforehand, that kind of contradicts that statement. Just kind of wanted to throw that little tidbit in there.
That individuals actually do, look at his reviews or his live streams, and they actually believe what he says. It is time for me to come out and expose this guy. So the thing is, he can't give you.
Ooh, coming out and exposing him. Oh my god. Alright. The thing is, JTech, again, you're basically trying to call out someone who is either trolling very, very well and trying to bait people into doing it, or is just farming for the hate views and you're kind of feeding into his own ego. Unsure as to which, both of which are just as scummy as both of that you've also done. So hypocritical. Love it.
An accurate description of a game. He cannot critique a game. He cannot give a review of a game. He cannot give an opinion of a game that he has not completed. This guy doesn't even make it halfway into the game. There are so many games where he does.
So because he doesn't complete a game, he is not allowed to give his opinion on the game. If you're talking mostly about the PlayStation side of things, okay, understandable in some contexts. Now, here's the weird part about that. A lot of game reviewers do this exact same fucking thing. And yet, you call out none of them. Why is Michael Does Life special? Because he's an Xbox fanboy. And because you hate the Xbox, you have to point out the fact that he doesn't complete his games. Same thing with a lot of other stuff. Maybe he just didn't like the game in the first 15 to 20 minutes of it. Maybe he just didn't like the game because, well, he just got bored with it. Or maybe he forgot about the game because he got so bored with it. Again, not really defending him, more defending the general fact that, again, while yes, he is not a reliable source, 100%, not defending that point at all. That point is correct. Like, again, the man is clearly on half of the medical wing of all time, but still. Saying that he doesn't complete a game, therefore his arguments are not valid, is like saying that if you don't complete the game to its fullest, that your argument is invalid. Like, that's not entirely true. You can give your arguments for like a first impressions kind of thing within like the first 2 to 3 hours of a game. That's completely valid to say, hey, this game actually looks pretty good. I'm liking it so far, and we'll see where things go. If you want to give a full review on the game, I would recommend you at least get significantly enough into the game for that thing. So I am agreeing with you in the context that you need to make significant progress to give your opinions on the game. However, in this context, that doesn't apply because this person's insane.
Doesn't even have 5% of the trophies. There are at least 2 or 3 that I think that have 0% of the trophies. You're going to be seeing all of this data while I'm talking to you guys. We don't need to listen to this guy's voice anymore. We've heard him in the beginning of the video.
To be honest, I thought you were just going to show pictures of hot dogs the entire time.
We know he's not right, but he's smart enough to continuously do this. I just wanted to point out, we got information that the guy did 13 Hogwarts Legacy videos. He only used the PS5 box art in all of his thumbnails, but he was actually playing the game on Xbox. So he was giving a review about Hogwarts, playing the Xbox version, but using the PS5 box art in his thumbnails. So you don't actually know how the game is on PlayStation, which is...
Gee, you wonder why clickbait happens. Oh my god!
If you watch the Digital Foundry analysis, you know that the game runs better on PlayStation than it does on Xbox. So again, you're shitting on the PlayStation version, but you were playing the Xbox version. I know this because My boy True Witty, he has an Xbox. He pulled up his data. He saw that he was playing Hogwarts Legacy. I went back, looked at his live stream. What did I find? He is playing a game on Xbox specifically because I didn't see a L1 button. I saw a LB button. The L button. That's what it's called on Xbox. So, long story short, this...
I like how he has to correct himself. Also, that font is weird. But yeah, no shit. I mean, obviously, if he's going to be using the box art and if the box art for it actually kind of fits the description, then sure. But at the same time, again, if he's clickbaiting, he's clickbaiting. It's not like you haven't done that either. Again, very hypocritical to call him out on the same thing that you've kind of done. Probably not to as explicit of an extent as Michael Does Life has done. I will give you credit for that. You were a bit more tasteful in your clickbait, which it does actually have a taste. It's not to everyone's taste, but there is a taste to it. But I would say that of the two, you are technically more honest. But that's like saying, between these two piles of shit, which one smells the least like it's been sitting out for a week? So, again, it's hard to really kind of make a comparison here. Also, again, he might be a troll. Like, this might be what he is. And I am still unsure myself. Like, I am scared to cover him because of the fact that he does this sort of stuff. Unsure. But at the same time, yeah, so... he's probably just clickbaiting it in the title, and he might have even actually played the actual like digital version, just had a copy of the PS5 box art, or just had a copy of the PS5 disc with him. Might have gotten a digital copy or a review copy or something like that. Unsure. We're not sure of the thing, but whatever. We can continue.
Guy is very, very fraudulent, and people are listening to him, and that's very damaging to the gaming community as a whole. If you're going to get information from anybody, make sure they're actually completing these games. Listen, if the game is really bad, it's buggy, it's glitchy,
Again, it's not that simple. There are reviewers and people out there for that. Yes, I understand that there are times when you have to complete certain games, but if you want to do a full review, 100%. If the person has completed the game and give their honest opinion on it, sure. Why the fuck not? However, if you're giving just like a first impressions and a person makes it very clear that they're still making their way through the games, again, that's more trustworthy. You're going to have to use your own opinion, and if you hear any bullshit detectors, that's probably a sign that you should not be listening to that person's opinion. Also, again, the man is still sounding like a chipmunk on crack. So, again, probably not the best for it. But at the same time, it's funny because you do the same thing. Maybe you complete your games and stuff like that, 100%. Maybe I'm not dissing your gaming skills, as it were. But if you complete your games and you give your honest opinion on it, I can respect that. But I can also respectfully disagree and say that, I prefer my PC rather than, say, a PlayStation, because the PC has a lot of the benefits that I love. And I respect opinions. Like, notice how I never attack people in a serious manner. I'm always joking around about it. That's because I respect a person, but I can disagree with this person's specific opinions. And that's usually what I tend to try and do. Try to leave out the personal attacks and just attack a specific point that the person is trying to make. In this context, I think your point is stupid because it seems to be more hypocritical, because if he was, say, capping for PlayStation, you would not care in the slightest. He would be dirt under your boot. But just because he's the little stick of gum that kind of like sticks to the bottom of your shoe and gets a little bit annoying, you have to make a video to kind of scrape off that shit. It's not shit, but it's like, you get my meaning.
Can't get through half of the game. I understand. A lot of people had that problem with Cyberpunk 2077 before they patched it, but for a game that does not have any of these problems, for you to just out the gate call shit, you only...
And also the PlayStation port of the Last of Us PlayStation port, the PC port, and also the PC port of The Last of Us 1. But you won't mention that because that kind of defeats your argument in this context, kind of. Because you basically made a different video that I've also covered on this channel where you said that the PC can't handle The Last of Us Part 1 port. Which, that's kind of fucking stupid. Hypocrite.
You got 2%, 0%, sometimes 7% of your trophies. Bro, you have no right. So I'm saying this for all the world to know. This guy is a complete fraud. He is a fake gamer. He is an actor. And you should not listen to a word he says. Trust me. The next major PlayStation exclusive that comes out, he's going to do the same thing over and over and over again.
Wow. I think that this meme basically sums up my point here.
Excuse me? Mr. Kettle, Mr. Pot called. He says you're black!
What? It's a turn of phrase. It has nothing to do with race.
Okay. Now, if I'm being honest in this context, this is still a very dumb point because we both know, Mr. jaytechtv, that if this person was capping for the other hat, you would not have a single problem with it. In fact, you would be endorsing him, in my personal opinion. I'm maybe not. I'm unsure. But just because he's capping for Microsoft and quite possibly, again, farming them hate views for one reason or another, I think that you don't have a really big leg to stand on, in my personal opinion. And yes, this is like, oh my god, this man over here is talking out of his butt cheeks, and therefore you shouldn't listen to him. Ah, yes, and how is that bear shitting in the woods quota coming along? Definitely seems like there's something happening there. But in all honesty, like, this feels really weird to be covering two people on the opposite ends of the spectrum, because I can't, like, say one thing bad about one without making the other person look good in that same context. It's like, yeah, you sound like you're not lying out your butt cheeks at this point. It's like, well, yeah, but, like, right now, but we have tons of evidence of you lying out of your ass cheeks for other things. It's like, bro, it's just like, it's like so cool to see this. It's like a clash of titans. Well, maybe not a clash of titans, maybe a clash of two handfuls of dog shit and just kind of like squishing it together. It's just entertaining to watch. It's like my Super Bowl or my WWE match. It's like, let's go, kick his ass, Seabass, or something like that. Anyway, I'm definitely waffling on. But final thought on this. That is very funny coming from Mr. jaytechtv, who we know for a fact has done this sort of thing as well. Capping for one side while not playing things for the other side. Though I will say Jaytech has some amount of not just credibility, but also some amount of actual, like, understanding. But by, like, a micron amount. Like, if that's anything to go off of. He just caps for the other side and does lies about the other side as well. I mean, he's getting better. Definitely getting better than he used to be. But at the same time, like, pot, kettle, black. Anyway, my name is GamePenguin21. This video is kind of interesting and probably just one I'm going to keep on the back burner. And a peace off.
That's alright, I'm aware of the danger. You wanna get away?